and let's start off the episode of the Insta Roundtable. This is a place where ideas and leaders meet. So today's agenda is very special: building resilience, preparing your workforce for economic uncertainty, and we have today leaders from Publicis Sapient and Deloitte. So, before we start, let me quickly brief you about what we do, what Insta stands for. We are a platform which allows companies to find talent with 10x more accuracy and 10x less time compared to any other existing solutions. So, we're trusted by companies like Amazon, Oracle, Google, Adobe, VMware, and plus 10,000 plus enterprises use our product. So let's start off the discussion with a quick introduction about the speakers. So first, let me introduce to you Ratika. Ratika is from Publicis Sapient. She leads talent acquisition, the project hiring lead of the talent acquisition team at Publicis Sapient. So over to you, Ratika. A brief introduction about yourself.
Thanks, Harjit. You've already introduced me quite a lot. Yeah, so I'm currently associated with Publicis Sapient. Been with them for 9.5 years now, and very happy, as you can see. It's I think very visible all over from my LinkedIn profile as well. So yeah, and apart from what I do as part of my job in talent acquisition, I am a mental well-being ambassador. I do focus a lot on working with individuals on their mental health. I'm also working towards being a transformation coach. That is, all of this is over and above the talent acquisition profile that I have. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay. Thank you, Ratika, for taking your time out and joining the discussion. We have Dhara. Dhara is the Deputy Manager of Human Resources at Deloitte. So, welcome, Dhara, and a brief introduction of you for our audience, please.
Thank you, Sarbjeet. First of all, Ratika, that was a good introduction. I love the fact that you have two different aspects of your core job as well. So, thank you so much for letting us know that. And talking about me, yeah, I work with Deloitte as a global mobility advisor there. It's been 7 wonderful years with this organization. With my passion to work in HR and contribute towards little well-being of people and making an impact into social life as well. I also contribute to the CSR activities in my organization, and apart from that, I love to spend some time reading books. Don't ask me the genres because those are really boring ones, but yeah, I do love reading books.
Great. Lovely to have you guys. Lovely introduction, Dhara and Ratika. So, we'll start off the discussion. We'll start off one by one. So, Ratika, I have the first question for you. Then I will go for Dhara. So, Ratika, the first question is about yourself. So, can you share your journey from your academic days to your current roles, highlighting any pivotal moments or decisions? Perhaps you can also share a memory from early days that left a lasting impact.
Sure. So, Sarbjeet, I actually did my schooling from the very prestigious Muir College Girls' School, Ajmer. And then I went on to do my graduation from Delhi University in Economics Honors, followed by a post graduation in Economics, and then an MBA in HR from Amity University, Noida. None of that is related to what I'm doing right now, but definitely, I've had, I think I worked with a startup before I joined Publicis Sapient 9.5 years ago for 2 years. And my first brush with, psychometric profiling actually happened when I was in school. Okay. And
Mhm.
that's one of those memories that has stayed with me, because I think that was a career counseling session in class 10th where, the counselor actually wanted to probably take me through the journey and see what works for me, what stream I should choose in class 11. So I think that was the first time I got introduced to the concept of an MBTI profiling. Okay. And way back in 2004, so very many years ago, the profiling stays, the concepts stay. But this has been my journey. One of the memories that has stayed with me was, you know, it's the first person that I hired. Okay,
Okay.
as a recruiter, uh, I became a recruiter by choice, right? I think something that I knew I wanted to do something like this on similar lines, and don't ask me how because I don't have an answer to that. But that is something that a lot of people become recruiters by chance, okay, and a large number, and that proportion is very large. But I'm a recruiter by choice, and the first person that I hired, I'm still in touch with him. I placed him in three different companies in three different I mean, in my different tenure of working or knowing him directly or indirectly. And that is one memory that has stayed with me because every time I speak to him, it makes me realize that I'm just not a recruiter, or my job is just not to. It looks like my job is just to find people and introduce them to companies and just connect them. No, it's so much more. When you speak to them, you realize how important you are uh, to them, and unknowingly the relationship that you build with such people. And I've been in touch with him for 12 years now, and he's doing very well. And he's not the only one. There are a lot of people that I've built relationships with over my journey. But yes, the first hire is always very special, and yeah, that's a memory that stayed with me.
Great, great, Ratika. So, Dhara, over to you. Like, can you share a journey from your days, academy days, to your current roles, pivotal moments, emotions, and a memory from your early days that left a lasting impact?
So, definitely, my journey has been very unique and transformative. Since my college days, I started off pursuing my chartered accountancy along with my commerce graduation. Soon to realize that it was taking toll on my mental well-being because it's a very exhaustive course. I had given up on that, and then in my final year, I was given a choice to choose out of optional subjects as psychology as one of the subject, which with my inner instinct, I just chose it and excelled into it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's is my very first moment when I was introduced to the concept of psychology. Thereafter, it has only stayed with me. I started my career into banking first, which I did for 6 months. Thereafter, I realized my calling lays somewhere else. So then I went as a student counselor, where I honed my skills of being a interactive person who communicates with people, understands their what they expect from the life overall. So that helped me to then get my next job, which was into HR generalist, which I did it with a lot of passion while pursuing my postgraduate diploma from Tata Institute of Social Science.
Mm-hmm.
And amazingly, I was offered opportunity to be with Deloitte as a mobility compensation and benefits professional. Since
Okay.
then, I have grown myself from a newbie into global mobility to an expert now. So, in short, if I have to conclude, it has been an amazing ride, knowing that to follow your passion, you have to go through all up and downs, and it has been a lovely ride till now. Looking forward for more.
Great, very nice introduction, Dhara. So let's start off the question answer which we have prepared for you. So Dhara, we can start off with you, and then I can move to Ratika with our
Definitely.
questions. So a confluence of fields, like what led you to explore the nexus of psychology and your respective fields, and were there specific incidents or realization that drew you to this intersection?
So, like I mentioned, psychology came as an optional subject to me. Soon to realize that it is love which I want to follow and pursue it for lifelong. It has helped me to understand from my career starting from banking to as a student counselor and then be an HR later. It has helped me to grow, excel, know people, and to serve the larger purpose of whichever organization I've worked with so far. So that has been the confluence there.
Okay, okay. So I come to Ratika. So in your case, what led you to explore the nexus of psychology and your respective fields? Were there specific incidents or relation that you drew to this intersection?
So I was interested in psychology since my school days. Okay, because while I didn't have it as a subject because I was studying commerce, um, I did started to read a lot. Okay, and I started developing a curious mindset. I'd become a little more curious, but the real rush happened when I was doing my MBA. Okay, so when I started doing my MBA, I was studying psychology, behavioral science, and psychology and talent acquisition. Um, and that was the real time when I started to realize that while I had recruited in the past, before I started my MBA, I had worked for 2 years. uh, I realized that now that I'm studying the subject, if I can now start applying the concepts that I'm studying in
Hmm.
recruiting, I would actually be able to, convert a passive job seeker into an active job seeker. I could actually relate, connect the dots and relate to what I was studying to the practicality of
Hmm.
my profession. So, I started to realize that I could easily mold my communication style,
Okay.
in order to have the effective conversation with a candidate,
Hmm.
which nerve to catch where and when and how to mold the conversation in the sense that benefits the individual and he sees a win-win in it, from a job perspective and things like that. That kind of, uh, made me realize that how important the subject is to my field.
Okay, so I'll continue with that. Like we have seen a lot of psychometric tools in the market. So how does these tools offer a different lens to view candidates? And have you like how have these tools added depth to your recruitment and HR process beyond the traditional methods? Ratika?
So, Sarjeet, a typical traditional recruitment process would be sourcing the candidate, interviewing him, on offering him, and onboarding him, right? Now, with the help of these tools that are available in the market, we can actually understand the traits, the abilities, the characteristics of every individual, which in turn, kind of helps the recruitment process in multiple ways, right? So some of those could be, the bias gets removed, right? So there's
Mhm.
no bias because everybody's giving the same assessment, right? So everybody is being evaluated fairly, right? There is no uh, there's no bias even to hire a diversity candidate for that matter, which is now becoming an important aspect for every organization that we're focusing on, right? Some of these tests actually help the candidates, to identify which job is best suited for them. So it's not just from an organization standpoint, but it's also from the candidate standpoint, right? Uh, in scenarios where our pool is very large, which is rarest of the rare cases, but there might be a few scenarios where the pool is very large, right? So if you give people the assessment to do, it is also very effective to eliminate people who are not going to suit that particular role. Leadership style, understanding somebody's leadership style, specifically if you're hiring for a leadership role, right? So finding somebody who matches your requirement as an organization can come through with the help of these psychometric assessments and so on and so forth. So there are like endless benefits to it.
Okay. Thank you, Ratika. So, Dhara, what are your thoughts on this kind of like these tools? They offer a new lens to view candidates, but how has these tools helped you in setting up or like changing or modifying your HR process beyond the traditional means which were there?
Yeah, so I think my friend has already covered some points because she mentioned a lot of list there. So what I would like to really highlight is basically this psychometric tools are used to understand the psychological aspects, the human behavior of any individual, right? So this helps even when we have employees on board. This
Hmm.
helps us to understand how the team dynamics work and how we can create more cohesive environment for other teammates. Okay, and this also helps us to map the organization aspirations to grow along with the leadership style which is existing in the organization. Okay, so it also helps to design learning and development initiatives, thereby giving helping resources to the leaders to evolve and grow to next level, which
Hmm.
can serve a larger purpose to the organization.
Hmm.
Yeah. To be more specific, if I have to speak recently, people are very much focused on emotional intelligence, right? where
Yes.
people test their self-awareness, how they are into social setup. All of this helps to build a culture which is more cohesive. It is the one which thrives the people to grow and grow well while working.
Okay. So, Dhara, continuing with you. So, how has like the candidate or employee feedback shaped or refined your approach to using this such kind of tools or these methodologies?
Yeah. So feedback plays a very vital role when it comes to acceptance of any processes in the organization, right? So the feedback received from the employee helps us to have more employee specific or centric approach, and it also helps us to understand that are these tools actually serving the purpose where they were introduced for. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it can help them, it has helped us at least to understand in a way that if these tools are applied, whether there's no biases when people are actually capitalizing on those tools. So well, that the tool doesn't have any biases, but there
Yes.
are times where you should apply this so that it gives the appropriate outcomes. And if I have to be very specific about this, then it has helped us in ways where we choose right tools. We choose tools which are more ethical so that it saves the interest of the organization and the individual as well while achieving the goals.
Okay, and you talked about like emotional intelligence. So, how do you think that that can be one of the biggest things in the coming 4 5 years down the line? Like that can be one of the biggest things, and this is already one of the biggest things when we
Yes.
hire people or when we like motivate or encourage employees. So, what
Yeah.
are your thoughts on this?
So if I have to be specific about this is my personally very favorite topic to talk on.
Okay.
So empathy forms part of the overall emotional intelligence, and this serves as a very important aspect when it comes to leadership, team management, team dynamics, because this will create a space where people can grow, be themselves, shape their skill sets, which can help us achieve the goals, or it can also help us achieve the upcoming challenges when it comes to ever changing world, right? So I understand this is going to be a very, very important topic to learn. In fact, organization has already made efforts if we can drive this through our learning and development initiatives.
Okay. Thank you, Dhara, for your insights. Ratika, I will come to you the same question. So, over the years, how has candidate or employee feedback shaped or refined your approach to using psychometric tools? And what are your thoughts on emotional intelligence when it comes to hiring or negotiating offers with candidates?
So, Sarojit, initially, a lot of organizations were using the similar assessment tools, right? It was Thomas assessment or a Jombe or an MBTI. Over time, we kind of started to realize that these candidates are doing these assessments in this other organizations as well. Okay. And at the same time, not only for the interview process, but they're also doing these assessments for their own growth, right? So you had these programs available online, and then there were these leadership programs that were happening in the organization, so on and so forth, right? So what actually started to happen was we could see that people were using similar, the feedbacks were becoming very I would say repeated, right? So there was a lot of repeat because the questions don't change in MBTI, right? And I'm sorry for all the background noise. Is that a little too
No,
loud?
we can hear you, no issues.
Yeah. So I think with that, what has really changed now is the focus on building assessments or picking up assessments specific to jobs, right?
Hmm.
So that kind of helps, analyze the right fit, candidate for a particular job role. So that has changed the way the tools are being used now. As far as emotional intelligence in recruiting is concerned, I think it is a very, very important aspect because recruiting, all in all, is one of those specialized fields of HR which is primarily dealing with people on a daily basis. There are no excels, there are no documents, there are only people that we're talking to. day in
Okay.
and day out, right? So be it stakeholders or candidates. So emotional intelligence particularly becomes extremely important there, right?
Uh,
So to be able to even understand the basic of a candidate, right? So, the basic nerve of a candidate, what is his driver, what is the motivation factor to change the job, all of that becomes very important, and emotional intelligence kind of helps us every day to connect with the candidates better.
Perfect. And so, continuing with that, let's talk about some pivotal moments of yours and like cherish achievements. We'll start with you and then go to Dhara. Uh, could you share a personal or professional incident that was transformative in your journey? Along with that, any significant achievement and a piece of professional advice that has consistently guided you? Oh, like for our audience.
I think it was the MBA at Amity, right? Because I knew I was doing the right thing, and I was in the right space because I was enjoying it, right? So that in itself was an achievement for me because when you're doing, like I said in the beginning, right? So I did my economics honors in graduation, post graduation. There was no major, I would say, connection to what I'm doing right now. Okay,
Mm,
but when I was doing my MBA, I realized how passionate I was about what I was getting into, right? As a qualification, I enjoyed every bit of it. So that is personally that entire 2 years has been an achievement for me. Okay,
mm,
because uh, it made me realize that apart from the degree, apart from everything else, what is more important is the happiness that you get from inside. Okay, and it was also a moment of spiritual awakening for me. So yeah, that in itself. And one advice that I swear by is, what got you here won't get you there.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Lovely
So,
one,
yeah.
Ratika.
So over to you, Dhara. So, could you share a personal or professional achievement or incident that was that you feel like has transformed you in your journey, and any significant achievement or a professional advice, I might say, that has consistently guided you and helped you in times of when things were not going as per plan.
I think I'm the perfect person to answer this now. So yeah, if I have to speak on my pivotal moment, then it would be the time when I had to make a career switch from a finance to coming to HR. Started off
Okay.
as a student counselor, then got an opportunity to pursue into human resource generalist role, and
Mm,
now being a mobility advisor, where I have an exposure and I interact with people coming from cross borders. It has been an amazing learning experience. So I would say the first pivotal moment was when I switched my career from a finance enthusiast to a human resource professional to start off, and it has just continued. And the special moment in this journey has been when I got my role into HR generalist, where I got a chance to do every bit of human resource from recruitment to performance appraisals to L&D. So all of this shaped my enhanced knowledge into human resources, helping me understand the behavioral science aspects into the HR. Thereby, I would say one important piece of advice from my experience to people who are looking for more motivation and inspiration outside is keep learning, have the attitude to learn, and this helps you to build the learning curve, not only in terms of professionally but personally, and it
okay.
keeps you prepared for anything which comes your way and it's unplanned for you. Yeah, so
Okay.
keep learning, be hungry for learning.
Okay. So that I'll continue with you. Like, what is the vision for the future? So, as expert in your domain, where do you see the application of behavioral science heading in the coming, say, 10 years down the line, or like 5 years down the line? Basically, in the next
Yeah.
coming decade.
And a very interesting question. With the amount of importance given to I
Mm,
think there is a lot more focus also required where we can have behavioral science incorporated into various aspects of life. I would say it would come into healthcare where, all the healthcare initiatives or the plans would be inclusive of how the behavioral aspects work for, because we're dealing with humans, right? So I think that is one area where we would see this. Also education for that matter, because like Ratika, rightly highlighted, it sometimes also helps the individual to understand where their interest or the calling lies. So that is one aspect which can extensively, be
Inclusive of
utilized in
how
the coming
behavioral
future.
aspects work for
So
Okay,
yeah,
because
that's from my side.
great. Uh, Now, Ratika, what are your thoughts on this? How do you see the future of behavioral science in your field as you're expert in your domain? What do you think behavioral science in your domain, application of behavioral science in your domain,
So,
the
for
next?
talent acquisition, Sarabjit, in my opinion, behavioral science will continue to evolve, right?
Okay.
Uh, in the sense that we will see a lot of predictive analysis being used more and more in the future. Now that you have, you know, uh, people say that AI is coming into play and it might take away the recruiter's jobs and things like that. But that's really not the case, because you can't really replace the emotions with an artificial intelligence. So while we already have tools in place, I think, and I'm sure as we speak, there are a lot of researches that are going on in various parts of the world where people are trying to analyze uh, the job, the how this tool is going to help in the
Mm.
success of different jobs, right? So we will be using in the future more and more of predictive analysis. We're going to be having in I think we should have in the future more and more tools that are
Mm.
going to work towards removing biases from an employer standpoint in terms
Okay.
of recruiting the right kind of talent for the right kind of role, right? So uh, additionally, I think with the help of this tool, we will also be able to coach the employers. Not it's not just about finding the talent; it is also about coaching. So we're also going to be in a position to coach the employers or the recruiters or talent acquisition professionals,
Mm.
in a sense, to have more and more engaging and personalized conversations with the talent available in the market, right?
Okay.
So these are a couple of ways where we are going to be using this. But like I said, there's so much more that can happen in this field as we
Mm.
speak. I'm sure there's somebody sitting somewhere doing their bit of research.
Okay. One question I have for both of you guys is suppose behavioral science when we apply to the field, can we like do you think there is any application or have you used any application where you can find out if the person you are hiring or the person who have already joined and in your team is actually a cultural fit or is highly motivated or won't would be there for the company for long years? So anything on that front, Dhara or Ratika, or both of you can answer.
Sure. So, as an organization, we're already doing a lot of that.
Okay.
Okay, leveraging these assessments tools like a disc assessment, or for leadership level, the strength finders, or something or the other. Different types of assessments that we're doing already to develop people. You know, from a leadership standpoint, creating opportunities for people to pick up something that they would particularly or personally like to do. It is something that we're already doing as an
Mm.
organization, and uh, largely I do see that, very recently we did two workshops where for different set of people, where different career stages, where we have given them different types of assessments, and there's this proper counseling that happens during the assessment, and then there's a post assessment discussion available, opportunity available with the facilitator. So all of this has actually helped, and I think what this also does is, it, because we are able to understand what the individual's motivations are, as an employer we're able to create that engagement
Mm.
with the person that we are dealing with.
Okay.
leading to long-term engagement. So yeah, that is kind of beneficial there.
Okay. Dhara, your thoughts on
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, just to build upon that, I would say that what has helped in our case is to understand when we say we understand the motivations of the people, we are also in a position to use such tools and understand what brings more conflicts because you
Mm,
see a pattern behavior in that, right? So if you're managing any PIP cases, performance improvement cases, is where we can utilize this. And on a larger spectrum, to emphasize this more is if you have to have any bigger organizational change, this
mm,
plays a very pivotal role because the one who is going to be the change driver has to be in a position to drive this for the organization, understanding the pulse of the organization. So we have a very regular activity where we have pulse survey done for the employees, which kind of gives us similar insights to the psychometric aspects of it. So
okay.
yeah, that is how the application has been so far.
Okay, great. So we move on to the next section of us, which is audience questions, which we have got through emails and other channels. So the first question is from Rajat Goel. Anybody of you can take up the question and answer. For those looking to integrate psychometrics in HR and talent acquisition, what foundational advice or resources would you both recommend as a starting point?
Okay. So for me, I can start first. For me, I think the first step is introspection. Okay, that's the key, right? Unless you know your own strengths, your own personality type, your own growth areas, no matter how many tools we throw at you, you're not going to be able to utilize them. Okay. Additionally, when you have these tools, it is also imperative to understand them in depth. Okay, so a lot of times you'd see, when you do an assessment online, right? Uh, the person who's done the test would just read the first four lines and say, oh, this is my personality type, right? And then
Mhm.
you become very and then you start talking about, I'm a type A or I'm a type
Right.
B. But ask you in detail what a type A, type B is, you would have no clue about it. Okay, you would just keep repeating those four lines that you've read, okay, on that online assessment. So I think that is something that is very superficial, and this superficial understanding of any tool or any assessment, right, will never be able to help you relate or connect to your candidate better. And when I speak, I'm talking from in a generic sense, and also specifically from the sense of a talent acquisition professional,
Mhm.
in the sense that if you are doing an assessment with somebody, you should know what that assessment is so that you can actually deep dive into that conversation with your candidate and eventually with your stakeholder. Because if you're, and there, I'll give you a very simple example, something like um, the personality type, or the person is coming across as an extrovert in the assessment, and the interviewer after the interview is of the opinion that, oh, this guy doesn't make sense, or
Mhm.
I'm not interested in getting this person on board. And then you can have a detailed conversation, and if you agree to the stakeholder saying that, okay, this is not what role that is going to be suited for this candidate. If you know the personality type, or if you've understood the assessment results thoroughly, you can actually go back and have a structured conversation with the candidate as well. Maybe
Okay.
route him to another role, maybe talk to another stakeholder internally, or maybe the entire conversation. Imagine giving a feedback to somebody who will bounce back on you versus giving feedback to somebody who will understand, right? And that understanding what language to use, what words to use, what word will offend the individual, what will go down well with the person, all of these are key in the talent acquisition field. In recruiting, every day we do that. So, to answer Rajat's question, I think first introspect, understand, and then apply.
Okay, understood. Anything more to add, Dhara, on this?
Yeah, on this, I just wanted to add that while doing the study of introspection, it is
Mm,
also important to study the tool you're going to utilize or capitalize on that. because it's
Okay.
very important to understand the nitty-gritties of it and the biases. There are sometimes biases when it comes to if this was a role XYZ, this tool would have been beneficial. So having a right knowledge of right fitment of the tool will definitely be the starting point for someone looking forward to try this in their organization.
Okay. So Rajat, I hope you got the very detailed answer on this with a lot of pointers from both the leaders which we have today. The next question is from Manjunath. Manjunath is, over the course of your careers, how has your perspective on psychometrics changed or deepened, especially as you have navigated its complexities?
Yeah. So I'll go first on this.
Yeah.
So what I would answer this is like it has only deepened with maybe with my avid interest into learning new stuff uh, and knowing human behaviors because in my role it plays a very pivotal role where I deal with so many people and I interact with expats, I interact with other nationals, including in India. So this has helped me a lot. It has helped me also understand myself better.
Okay.
So yeah, so it has been a very fruitful both ways, learning others' personality and also learning myself.
Okay. Um, anything more you want to add on this, Ritika? On Dhara's?
Just that, um,
Mm,
just like humans have evolved and we continue to evolve with time, with
mhm.
experiences, uh, these tools, these assessments, all of this will continue to evolve. What is going to stay is who you are, right?
Okay.
And these tools are actually going to help us understand who we are and who are the people that we're dealing with. So, uh, over the years, it has a lot of things have changed, right? My perspective continues to change every day, okay, because every time I studying about the subject of behavioral science, every single time I am uh, finding something new to experiment with, okay, and I continue to feel that it is going to change even more with the new generations coming into play.
Okay, thank you. So we move on to the next section with the insights, and the next section is known as Golden Nuggets. So this is a section where we have questions for the other section, which is the candidate or the job seekers. We have talked about recruitment and others. So the section is more about what the job seekers and with leaders like you, with experts like you, how we can help them to get a better job or the dream job. So Ratika, the first question I will start with you, and I have a question for Dhara also. So Ratika, when it comes to post interview follow-ups, what's the strategy or approach you recommend candidates adopt to leave a lasting impression without seeming too persistent or too restless?
So, I think the first thing that a candidate needs to do is actually it's I would want to turn this around, okay. I
Yeah.
don't think they should even ask for a feedback.
Okay.
It should be us who should have given them the feedback in the first place. So where is this coming from? Because I should
Ratika,
have given them the
from their
feedback.
side, I would like to add it. It is 70% of still the recruiters population who don't
Absolutely.
do that.
Yeah, so let's start coaching in house first, okay, before we actually go back and there. But yes, to not sound desperate, and I don't think it really goes out to the market right now. People don't really sound desperate. They get really aggressive. Okay,
Okay.
so in their communication style, I think that is something to avoid. Yeah,
Okay.
your communication over an email or to your recruiter on a call, whatever you do, right, has to be within the boundaries of you need to be polite, right. And you can be polite and not desperate and still ask for the feedback.
Okay, great feedback, Ratika. So I move on to Dhara. So Dhara, in your role, you have seen a lot of like countless number of resumes. So what's one often neglected fact or element on a resume that can make a candidate stand out in the sea of applications or like stand out among the rest? Like, um, any feedback on that? Dhara?
Yeah. If the person is a fresher, the career objective, the very first section, please put
Okay.
some efforts there.
Okay.
And if you are a professional with a lot of experience, please have a summarized summary of your profile so far with your experiences. And don't just highlight your work experiences. Please also highlight your personality traits, be it your leadership skills, be it your what do you say, communication with other people, interpersonal skills. So all of this, please utilize this in your the top section. Ratika can confirm is the first thing which the recruiters first see and observe about the resume. So please put some work there.
Okay. Ratika, you want to add something on this, or we move on to the next?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, so we move on to the next section, which is the last section, a very fun section, which I may say it's a rapid fire. So I'll ask you, each one of you, around 5, 6 questions, and you, whatever comes first in your mind, you have to tell. Okay, so start off with Ratika first. So Ratika, preferred form of communication, emails or phone calls?
Phone calls.
Morning kickstart, yoga or gym?
Neither.
Interview mode, face to face or virtual?
Face to face.
Okay. So weekend getaway, city break or a countryside retreat?
Sorry, come again.
Weekend getaway, city break or a countryside retreat?
Countryside retreat.
Okay. Um, First assessment, what do you do? Skills or cultural fit?
Cultural fit.
Okay. Last one, comfort food, pizza or pasta?
Pizza. Cheese burst.
Okay, great. Great. So now I come to Dhara. So Dhara, was the first question. HR tech tool, AI screening, or video interviews?
AI screening,
Travel dream, European tour, or beaches of Bali?
European tree.
Okay. Team dynamics, hierarchical, or a flat structure?
I would say flat structure.
Flat structure. Okay. Favorite book genre, mystery or romance?
Interesting one. Maybe romance. But my personal favorite is anything related to psychology because that is the only concept which will keep me engaged through the book.
Okay. Okay. So employee engagement, regular check-ins or quarterly reviews?
Regular check-ins. Highly
Regular.
recommended. Yeah.
Okay. And the last one, music preference, pop or classical melodies?
Classical melodies, it has to be that.
Okay. Okay. So with that, we come to the close of the session with the Insta Roundtable. Thank you so much, Ratika and Dhara, for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming to have a chat with me. And thank you all of the folks who have joined us. So it was a great afternoon talking with you and discussing about the things which we have already discussed. So thank you, Dhara. Thank you, Ratika. Hope you loved it.
Sarvajit, thank you so much. I loved the last section. It was quite impromptu and it was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you, Ratika.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Dhara.
you,
Take care.
everyone, for listening us very patiently. Bye bye.